Have you ever met someone and felt an instant connection, only to question later if it was real, or just your longing for love playing tricks on you? Why do we keep attracting the same types of relationships? Why do some people leave us feeling seen and safe, while others leave us broken and doubting our worth? If these questions stir something in your heart, you're not alone. This video will take you on a powerful journey through the wisdom of Carl Jung, exploring how our unconscious shapes the relationships we attract and how true love only appears when we become whole within ourselves. You'll learn how to recognize when a connection is genuine, how to stop repeating painful patterns, and how to distinguish between intensity and true intimacy. This isn't just about romance, it's about healing, self-discovery, and the freedom to finally stop settling. Stay with me until the end, because this video may just change the way you view love forever. You'll walk away with not only clarity, but also the tools to attract relationships that honor your truth and support your growth, starting with the one you have with yourself. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Carl Jung gently reminds us of a truth that so many overlook. The unconscious mind is always working in the background, quietly but powerfully seeking balance. It's like a compass trying to guide us home, back to ourselves. But when we spend our lives chasing relationships that drain our spirit, that deplete our emotional reserves, our entire being begins to rebel. It doesn't whisper, it cries out. And if we don't listen, the message only grows louder. At first, it might show up as subtle anxiety, that unease in your chest when you're around someone who doesn't feel safe emotionally. Then comes the exhaustion, the lack of motivation, the sinking feeling that you're running on empty. And for many, it manifests physically: sleepless nights, persistent body aches, that heavy fog of fatigue that no amount of rest seems to cure. These aren't just symptoms. They are warning signs. They are your soul's desperate plea for change. And this is why, when someone is truly meant for you, genuinely aligned with your heart and spirit, you won't feel that constant inattention. You won't feel like you're walking on eggshells or losing pieces of yourself just to make it work. No. Instead, there will be a quiet ease, a gentle sense of belonging, a feeling like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. It won't be perfect, because no relationship is, but it will be real. It will be safe. It will allow you to breathe fully and be unapologetically yourself. Jung believed that harmony is essential for emotional well-being, and I couldn't agree more. But what touches me even deeper is his belief in something more profound, that true connection happens when our souls recognize each other. Yes, that may sound poetic, maybe even mystical, but if you've ever locked eyes with someone and felt an immediate sense of familiarity, of being seen, then you know exactly what I mean. We go through life collecting wounds, heartaches, and quiet lessons that shape who we are. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we carry unhealed pieces of ourselves into our relationships, hoping someone else will fix what we haven't faced within. But when the right person enters your life, something shifts. They don't complete you, because you're already whole, but they mirror your growth, your truth, your healing. They inspire you to expand, to evolve, to become even more of who you were always meant to be. And yet, not all meaningful connections are meant to last forever. Some people walk into our lives as sacred teachers, companions for a season. They may awaken us, shake us, or show us what we need, and then they go. And though their time with us may be brief, the impact they leave behind is often unforgettable. But let's talk about the other kind of connection, the ones where you constantly feel like you have to prove yourself, where love feels conditional, where fear of abandonment, of rejection, of being too much dictates your every move. If you're in that cycle, please pause, breathe, and ask yourself the most important question of all. What inside me still believes that I have to earn love? Are you choosing this relationship from a place of true self-love? Or are you clinging out of fear? Fear of being alone, fear of not being enough, fear of never finding anything better. Jung saw loneliness not as a curse, but as a sacred invitation, a rare and beautiful space where we come face to face with ourselves. And when you finally learn to be at peace with who you are, not just tolerate your own company, but honor it, you stop chasing people who were never meant to stay. You stop begging others to fill a void they didn't create. And that, my friend, is when something miraculous happens, when you are no longer seeking someone to complete you, when you become emotionally whole. The most extraordinary, authentic relationships begin to appear effortlessly, naturally. You won't need to twist yourself into a version you think someone else will accept. You won't need to perform. You simply are. And for the right person, that will be more than enough. So, if you've ever felt someone enter your life at the exact moment you needed clarity, love, or even a challenge that pushed you to grow, don't ignore that. It wasn't an accident. Life is full of sacred synchronicities, of divine timing, of quiet signs guiding you forward, if only you'll stop long enough to pay attention. But here's the real secret, the one too many miss. The magic doesn't begin with finding the one. It begins with finding yourself, with turning inward, bravely exploring your shadows, your longings, your deepest patterns, and then having the courage to release everything that no longer aligns with your truth. Because when you know who you are, deeply, wholly, and unapologetically, the people who are meant for you will find you. And they won't just see you, they'll recognize you soul to soul, heart to heart. And in that moment, you'll finally understand what real love feels like. Not because you were searching for it, but because you became it. Carl Jung taught us something profoundly transformative, that the reality we experience on the outside is not random or chaotic. It's a mirror, a reflection of our inner world. If you desire to attract the right person into your life, then your first and most sacred task is to become the right person for yourself. The people we meet, the connections we form, the love we chase, none of it is pure coincidence. Jung believed, and I wholeheartedly agree, that every event, every relationship, every recurring emotional pattern in our lives is a manifestation of internal forces, unconscious parts of us that are begging to be acknowledged, healed, and understood. So, if you constantly find yourself stuck in relationships that leave you feeling anxious, unworthy, or hollow, stop and look inward. Ask yourself with honesty and compassion, what part of my soul is attracting this experience? What hidden belief, what silent wound, what unresolved narrative is playing itself out over and over again in your love life? This isn't about blame, and it's not fate either. It's not that you're doomed or unlucky in love. This is your soul's way of signaling that something inside still needs your attention. Because here's the truth. If deep down you carry the belief that you are not enough, then your unconscious mind will draw you toward people and situations that reinforce that belief. Not because those people are cruel, but because your inner world is always seeking proof of what it already believes to be true. The only way to break this painful cycle is through deep awareness. The moment you begin to see the patterns, to truly recognize that your relationships are echoing your inner dialogue, you take back your power. You stop chasing love to fill a gaping hole. Instead, you begin to share the love you've already cultivated within yourself. And something incredible happens. The people who show up in your life now begin to reflect the peace, the wholeness, and the self-worth you've worked so hard to embody. They don't drain you. They don't demand that you shrink, perform, or prove your value. They meet you with love because that's the energy you've chosen to live in. So ask yourself, right now, am I choosing love from a place of wholeness? Or am I still chasing connection from a place of fear? Because the answer to that question will shape the quality, truth, and destiny of every relationship you attract from this point forward. Jung explained this beautifully through the concept of projection. When we are not aware of certain parts of ourselves, the parts we've buried, rejected, or neglected, we unknowingly project them onto others. We start to see in them what we have not yet healed in ourselves. Maybe you've been in a relationship where you felt invisible, where your needs were dismissed, where love felt transactional, where you were constantly pouring out but receiving little in return. It hurts. It breaks you open in places you didn't even know existed. But what if, just for a moment, you paused and asked yourself, is this person simply reflecting the parts of me I have not yet learned to cherish? Am I, on some level, accepting this treatment because I haven't fully embraced my worth? The unconscious is a mysterious guide, but it always has a sacred purpose: to bring you back to yourself. If you found yourself in cycles of abandonment, begging for love, or fighting for attention, it may be because somewhere along the way you internalized a false belief that love must be earned. That affection comes with conditions that you must do to deserve. But the right person, when they arrive, everything changes. With them, there will be no exhausting games, no measuring your worth, no scrambling to prove your loyalty or your importance. The connection will unfold with grace, with softness, with the kind of ease that allows your shoulders to relax and your heart to breathe. It will be mutual, respectful, safe. It will be love that invites you into growth, not love that requires you to abandon yourself to survive. Now I ask you, have your relationships followed the same script? Do the same emotional storylines keep repeating, only with different characters? If so, that's not a coincidence. That's your unconscious waving a flag, begging you to wake up. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You are not stuck. You are not cursed. You are being called to awaken. Imagine this. You are standing before two doors. One is familiar. It leads to the same patterns, the same pain, the same lessons you've already endured. The other is unknown. It's frightening, yes, but it holds new possibilities. Healing, wholeness, a different story. Most people choose the first door. Why? Because pain is predictable. Because we've been conditioned to believe that discomfort is safer than the unknown. The fear of stepping into a new way of loving, of being, can feel paralyzing. But that second door, that's where transformation lives. And let me tell you, as someone who's walked through it, yes, it's terrifying. But it's also the doorway to the life and love you've been yearning for. When you choose that path, you are no longer looking for someone to rescue you. You become your anchor. You stop settling. You stop clinging to crumbs and begin to demand, not from others, but from the universe, what your soul has always deserved. And when you do that, when you say no more to relationships that reflect your wounds and begin saying yes to the ones that reflect your healing, everything begins to shift. Life responds to your courage with synchronicity. Love shows up, not as drama, not as chaos, but as peace. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. So I leave you with this. Will you keep choosing the old story? Or are you ready to step through the unknown and become the version of yourself who finally knows you are worthy of real love? Because once you do, the people who meet you there, they will not just see you, they will recognize you. But if you truly want to attract a connection that brings you peace, one that aligns with your soul and brings out the best in you, you must dare to walk through the second door, the unknown door, the one that challenges you to break free from old patterns and habits that no longer serve you. You cannot keep waiting for things to change if you refuse to change yourself. You cannot crave a relationship based on love if deep down, parts of you still reject that love, if you are still unwilling to open your heart fully to yourself. Jung would say that before you can find the right person, you must first become the right person. And this journey starts within. It requires deep inner work, the kind of work that asks you to look in the mirror, face the shadows of your past, and confront the painful patterns that have kept you stuck. It takes courage, the courage to face the very things that have led you to repeat the same heart-wrenching stories over and over again. Take a moment right now and pause. Reflect on all the relationships that have left a lasting mark on you. Think about the patterns that have repeated themselves, the emotions that have come and gone, and the way you've felt. What is the underlying message in all of this? What parts of you are still aching to be healed through the connections you've had with others? Why do we often continue to seek in others what we have yet to give ourselves? Because here's the painful truth. No one can heal you. No one can fill you up. No one can offer you what you have not yet given to yourself. Your soul can't be mended by someone else's love if you've never learned to love yourself completely first. True love starts within. It begins with nurturing your own heart and accepting yourself, flaws, wounds, and all. When the right person comes into your life, you will know. It won't be some dramatic revelation or overwhelming rush of emotions. It will be quiet. It will be calm. You won't feel the chaos or unnecessary suffering that often accompanies unhealed relationships. It will be a connection that invites you to grow and encourages your highest potential without ever demanding you change who you are. It will be someone who respects your essence, who motivates you to expand rather than shrink in their presence. But here's the catch. Before you can recognize that person when they arrive, you must first be honest with yourself. You must ask, am I choosing this person from a place of fear, lack, or the need for external validation? If the answer is yes, then you are not yet ready for true love. Jung taught us that the journey toward real love doesn't start with someone else. It begins with you. The quality of your relationships is a direct reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. If you aren't at peace with who you are, if you're still battling inner turmoil, then how can you expect to attract peaceful, loving, and authentic connections? When you truly know and accept yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your light, your shadow, the right connections will appear naturally. You won't have to chase them. You won't need to force them into being. They will flow into your life effortlessly, like a river finding its course. So, if you've ever asked yourself, how do I know if someone is the right one for me? Start by asking yourself an even more important question. Am I the right one for myself? Only when you answer that question with a deep sense of authenticity and clarity will you be able to recognize in another what truly aligns with your soul. There's a misconception that relationships are about filling emotional voids, but in truth, they are mirrors. They reflect what we already carry within ourselves, our beliefs, our wounds, our fears, our desires. Carl Jung once said that everything we experience in the external world originates from within us. Every person who comes into your life, whether they stay or not, reflects something you need to learn, heal, or embrace about yourself. Perhaps you've experienced meeting someone at the perfect time in your life, someone who seemed to have all the answers, someone whose presence felt comforting and familiar. But as time passed, the dynamic began to shift. You noticed little things, attitudes or behaviors that didn't quite match up with the image you had built in your mind. Slowly, discomfort started creeping in. You felt that something was off, but you tried to ignore it. You didn't want to lose the connection. At that point, your intuition was already speaking to you. The question is, were you listening? Jung emphasized the power of intuition, that quiet inner voice that comes from the deepest recesses of our unconscious. The rational mind can deceive you. It can create stories, rationalize the irrational, and justify staying in situations that aren't good for you. But your intuition speaks the truth. It doesn't require logic or analysis to make its point. It just knows. And it never lies. If you're feeling discomfort, if you're noticing those subtle signs that tell you something isn't right, listen to them. Don't ignore those gut feelings just because you wish reality were different. When someone is truly right for you, their presence won't create chaos. It won't lead you into a battle of trying to prove your worth. Instead, it will be a calm and nurturing presence, one that aligns with your true essence without causing any inner turmoil. So, listen to your intuition. It's the wisest guide you'll ever have. If you feel discomfort, that quiet unease in your chest, that whisper in your gut that something is off, listen to it. Do not dismiss it. Those subtle signs, those silent signals from your body and spirit are not random. They are sacred messengers. They're trying to protect you, to warn you, to tell you the truth your mind might be too afraid to face. Don't ignore those sensations just because you wish reality were different. Don't silence your soul just to hold on to someone who isn't meant for you. When someone is truly right for you, their presence won't ignite chaos inside of you. You won't feel like you're walking a tightrope, balancing your identity against their expectations. You won't feel like you have to shrink, mold, or mask who you are just to keep their affection. You'll feel safe, seen, grounded. There will be no constant internal war, no voice screaming, "Am I enough?" The truth is, one of the clearest signs that someone is aligned with your spirit is this: you feel peace when you're around them. But this is where many of us get confused. We've been taught to equate love with fireworks, with dramatic ups and downs, with wild emotional highs followed by crushing lows. We mistake intensity for intimacy. We think that if we're not feeling butterflies or clinging to the edge of emotional survival, then it must not be real love. But that's a lie. Intensity is not the same as genuine connection. A true connection doesn't leave you dizzy and drained. It anchors you. It brings mutual respect, calm, and emotional freedom. It invites you to rest, to breathe, to be your full, unedited self. If you reflect on your past, on the relationships that left you aching, doubting, or depleted, you'll likely remember that the signs were there from the beginning. The red flags, the gut feelings, the moments of hesitation, but you brushed them off. Why? Because of fear. Because the ache to be loved, to be chosen, to belong, was louder than your intuition. Jung would say, this isn't foolishness. It's the unconscious trying to heal. It's your psyche reenacting old wounds in the hopes of finding a resolution. You weren't just clinging to a person. You were clinging to a version of love that you hoped would finally make the pain make sense. And here's something beautiful to consider. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to enter your life right when everything is shifting? During times of loss, growth, change, awakening? That's not a coincidence. That's synchronicity, the universe's mysterious way of aligning moments, people, and energy to bring you exactly what your soul needs. But here's the catch. Synchronicity doesn't always bring you what you want. It brings you what you need to grow, to evolve, to see what's been hiding in your blind spots. Sometimes, the person who walks into your life isn't the one you've been longing for, but a mirror. A mirror reflecting what you've avoided, buried, or forgotten to heal. That's why, before you ask, is this person right for me? Pause. Breathe. Ask instead, what is this person showing me about myself? If their presence invites you to grow, to face your fears, to be more honest, more alive, more you, without betraying your values or self-worth, then perhaps their role is sacred, even if it's temporary, even if they don't stay forever. But if you feel like you're always doubting yourself, if you're constantly emotionally drained, walking on eggshells, filled with anxiety, confusion, or dread, that is not love. That is not alignment. That is your soul crying out for release. Jung teaches us that life offers us these experiences not to punish us, but to evolve us. Every person who enters your life is either an echo of your past or a key to your growth. It's up to you to decide which one they are and whether they belong in your future. And if you feel like you're the one doing all the work, if you're chasing, over-explaining, fixing, begging for effort or affection, feeling like you're walking in circles trying to keep something alive, ask yourself, is this love or is this survival? Am I holding on because it's good or because I'm afraid to let go? Real love, the kind that nourishes your soul, doesn't require you to abandon yourself. It doesn't ask you to sacrifice your peace or twist yourself into knots. True love doesn't come through suffering. It comes through safety, through effort that flows both ways, through the kind of presence that feels like home. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. You deserve that kind of love. But first, you have to believe it exists. And even more than that, you have to believe that you're worthy of it. A person who is truly aligned with your soul will never make you question your worth. They will never put you in a position where you feel like you have to choose between being your authentic self and being loved. Because when love is real, when it is rooted in truth, mutual respect and spiritual resonance, it never asks you to betray yourself in exchange for affection. Authentic love is not a battlefield. It is not a war you have to keep fighting just to be seen, heard, or held. It's not an impossible riddle you must solve, nor a strategy game where you constantly calculate your words, your silence, your next move, terrified of saying the wrong thing or being too much. Real love doesn't come with conditions that exhaust your spirit. Real love just is. It is free. It is clear. It is sincere. It's the quiet feeling that you can finally exhale in someone's presence. The deep peace that wraps around you like a warm blanket, not because everything is perfect, but because you don't have to perform. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to hold back who you are to keep someone close. And if you've ever had that experience, that sacred moment with someone where you felt truly at peace, where you knew you could be completely yourself, without fear of judgment, without worrying that your truth would drive them away, then you've tasted what Carl Jung described as a connection aligned with your innermost self. That's not dependency. That's not emotional neediness. That's not you seeking to be rescued. That's resonance. It's sharing the path of life with someone who vibrates at the same frequency as your soul. Someone who doesn't complete you because you're already whole, but who joins you in wholeness, in depth, in quiet strength. But to reach that kind of connection, you have to ask yourself something hard and honest. Am I truly willing to let go of what is not meant for me? Because here's the hard truth that many of us avoid. We say we want the right person. We begged for that soulmate, that sacred union, but we refuse to let go of the wrong one. We stay in what's familiar. We cling to what hurts. We convince ourselves that if we love harder, wait longer, explain better, they'll change. They'll see us. They'll finally give us what we need. But in that process, we lose pieces of ourselves. We sacrifice years, sometimes decades, waiting on potential, holding on to pain, hoping that maybe, just maybe, things will shift. And deep down, a voice whispers what we already know: this is not it. Jung would remind us of something simple but profound. Nothing can grow in barren soil. If you keep watering a relationship that starves your soul, you won't blossom, you'll wilt. And the longer you stay in that place, the more disconnected you become from your truth, your worth, your light. But the moment you choose yourself, when you decide, with trembling courage, to let go of what keeps you small, to walk away from what no longer supports your growth, something miraculous happens. It's not magic. It's not fate. It's energy. You begin to vibrate differently. You shift. You rise. And when that happens, The people who once fit into your world simply no longer match your frequency, and those who are meant for your next chapter begin to appear. And if, right now, you find yourself questioning whether someone in your life is truly the right person, don't silence that inner voice. Don't bury it beneath the fear of being alone. Don't distract yourself with memories of how good things could have been or used to be. Just pause, get still, and listen. Ask yourself, not from your mind, but from your heart, does this person bring me peace? Do I feel free in their presence, or suffocated by expectations? Do they inspire me to grow, or make me shrink just to feel safe? Or do you find yourself constantly exhausted, overextending, questioning your every word, feeling like love is something you must earn rather than something that flows freely between two open hearts? Because love is not a battlefield. It should not feel like war, where every day is another emotional battle just to be chosen, just to be enough. Real love lets you rest. It lets you breathe. It nourishes your soul, not because it's perfect, but because it's honest, because it's safe, because it allows you to be you. And I believe with all my heart, you deserve that, to be seen, to be loved, to be valued, not for who you pretend to be, not for the masks you wear, but for the raw, unfiltered, real you. That is the kind of love we all crave at our core. A love that doesn't ask you to perform, doesn't require explanation, and doesn't demand that you shrink to fit someone else's expectations. And when someone is truly meant for you, you won't need your mind to confirm it. You'll just know, not through logic or reasoning, but through the whisper of your soul. It won't be loud. It won't be complicated. It won't be full of confusion and second guessing. It will feel like peace. And if, at this moment, you feel like that person hasn't entered your life yet, don't despair. Don't spiral into the loneliness that convinces you to settle. Don't go searching outside of yourself for something that only exists within. Because the truth is, the kind of love you're longing for cannot find you until you find you. The moment you truly choose yourself, the moment you start valuing your own heart without needing someone else to validate it, that's when everything begins to shift. That's when you stop chasing love and start attracting it. When you stop needing someone to complete you and start radiating the energy of someone who is already whole. Jung taught us that the answers to our most haunting questions about love, purpose, and belonging are not found in the noise of the world. They are uncovered in the quiet spaces within. The journey isn't outward, it's inward. And when you finally gather the courage to go within, to face the parts of yourself that you've long abandoned, that's when things begin to align in the most unexpected and magical ways. And when the right person shows up, it won't be because they meet all your criteria. It won't be because they look perfect on paper or say all the right things. It'll be something deeper, something that moves through you like a knowing, a calm knowing, the kind that doesn't need to be explained to anyone, not even to yourself. You won't feel like you're in emotional debt. You won't feel like you're walking on eggshells or constantly calculating how to keep their love. There will be no desperate need to prove your worth, no circus of emotional acrobatics to hold onto their attention. Instead, the connection will simply flow, and most importantly, you will feel more like yourself than ever before. You'll feel free, not because someone else sets you free, but because they love the freedom in you and never try to cage it. They will not tame your wild. They will walk beside it, honor it, celebrate it. Carl Jung reminded us that true love has nothing to do with dependency or possession. It's not about ownership or control. It's about connection. It's about two whole souls walking alongside each other, choosing each other day after day, without ever asking the other to dim their light. The right person will never ask you to sacrifice your dreams, your voice, or your essence just to fit neatly into their world. They won't fear your power or your fire. Instead, they will fan your flame. They will challenge you to grow in the best kind of way. They will encourage your expansion and walk beside you, not behind or ahead, but beside you, as your equal, as your ally, as your soul's companion. In a truly meaningful relationship, there are no mind games, no manipulation, no battles for attention or scraps of affection. There is presence. There is safety. There is that quiet, unwavering feeling of, I am enough, exactly as I am. But here's the truth many shy away from. You cannot receive that kind of love until you've done the work to recognize it, until you've made peace with your past, until you've stopped chasing temporary comfort in all the wrong places. If you're still repeating toxic cycles, if you're still afraid of being alone, if you're still searching for someone to fill an emotional void, you may unknowingly keep choosing people who reflect your fears, not your worth. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're ready to hold. And love, true, soul-anchored love, requires readiness. Emotional readiness, spiritual readiness, self-love readiness. The deepest truth about love is this: the healthier your relationship is with yourself, the clearer it becomes who is truly right for you. When you stop searching for someone to complete your broken pieces and instead focus on becoming whole on your own, you shift the entire frequency of your life. You begin to attract people who love you from a place of fullness, not from need or control. So the next time your heart whispers, "Is this person the right one for me?" Pause. Don't rush to answer. First, ask the question that matters more. Am I being the right one for myself? Because when you show up fully, without fear, without shame, without apology, the right person won't need to be found. They'll recognize you just as easily as you'll recognize them. And it won't be loud. It'll be quiet, calm, and clear. It'll feel like coming home, not to them, but to yourself. Now, I'd love to hear from you. After everything we've just explored together, after walking through the deep insights of Carl Jung, peeling back the layers of love, connection, self-worth, and soul recognition, I want to know, what touched you the most? What insight are you walking away with today that you'll carry into your life, into your heart, from this moment forward? Maybe it's a realization about the patterns you've been repeating. Maybe it's a decision to stop chasing and start healing. Maybe, just maybe, it's the quiet but powerful choice to choose yourself. Please comment below and tell me one thing you've learned and one thing you're ready to practice in your life from now on. Your words might just help someone else who's going through the same journey. And if this message resonated with you, if something inside you whispered, "This is what I needed to hear," then I ask you to do this simple but powerful thing. If you like this video, please leave your comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps more than you know, and it tells the universe that this kind of truth deserves to be heard. This space we're creating together, it's not just about relationships with others. It's about healing the most sacred one, the relationship you have with yourself. So until next time, remember, you are worthy. You are enough. And the love you're looking for? It begins with you. Keep growing. Keep choosing you. And I'll see you in the next video.